Why is support resistance important? You've all heard of the concepts of the trend is your friend. Well, then look for the bloody trend. Why is it turning red? Why is it turning green? Why is it moving to begin with? Any entries that you do from this moment onwards, in my eyes, is the most prettiest thing you can do on the planet. So today, guys, we are going to be talking about support and resistance. You know, what is the fastest way to learn support and resistance? Not only just that, I'm also going to show you some of the trades I have done today that will take you further down the line of, okay, here's a theory, here's how to do it, and then here's what was done, okay, today, right? First, we're going to have to go over, these are the things you're going to learn in this webinar, okay? We're going to have to go over why is support resistance important? How do you use support and resistance? Okay, and finally, when should you use it and when you should not use it? Okay, we're going to touch base on multiple scenarios here. First, let's talk about the why. First of all, support and resistance is memory. What that basically means is if price has been holding for some time, I want you to remember this like this. I don't want you to look at it in terms of design. A lot of traders, when we first start as our journey, one of the common mistakes that we make is we look at a chart and we start analyzing a red and green candle, right? Why is it turning red? Why is it turning green? Why is it moving to begin with? Once we understand that why, we then position ourselves within that and saying, now I know what I need to do and which way I need to go. Okay, so let's start with the why. Okay, support and resistance is nothing but memory, which means I want you to imagine this as this is the $2 mark and this is the $1 mark. Okay, price has been trading between $2 and $1. Okay, and basically what happens is when prices reach $2, someone says, I want to sell it. And then the selling and the buying transactions, they take place and everyone's quite happy. Prices are staying stable. Okay, for you to make money, you want instability in the market. Once people have this memory of, oh yeah, whenever it goes to $2, I can sell it. Whenever it goes down to $1, I can buy it. This is generally the trading range, right? So what that basically means is, back in the day, what a lot of people used to do is they have an idea of how much certain things cost, right? And when they have an idea of how much certain things cost, they basically work on this parameter. Let's say someone is selling a laptop, okay? Someone's selling a laptop. And they know a laptop sells between $900 and $1,000 for that particular model, let's say. When the prices, the average prices in the market reaches $1,000, all the people with the laptop saying, sell it, it's okay, we'll make some money. But when the prices come down to $900 from the manufacturers, the people say, oh, I should buy it because I know this is a low point. So they go and buy a bunch of it to sell it later. Very basic stuff, right? I want you to now understand where the memory kicks in, okay? So far, this is what they're used to understanding. This is the day-to-day, this is what I operate in, this is what I understand. Now, COVID happens. Things go out of control, manufacturers close down, and now things have gone chaotic. What's going to happen? Well, that vendor, he still needs to buy, but prices are now here. They've reached $2,000. And now that vendor has got his eyeballs popping up saying, what in the world just happened? Right? He's like, whoa. This is crazy. What generally happens is the memory triggers in is when the prices actually do come down as a discounted rate, and it gets closer to that $1,000 mark, they remember that as last time I was at $1,000, it went berserk all the way up to $2,000. That fits into their memory and they're like, I want to make sure I buy it because this seems to be the bottom. Does that make sense?
Now, are you curious about the exact strategy Navin has been using to approach the markets? The Mastering Price Action course reveals all of that. In that course, you're going to understand the logic behind each price action movement. And from that, you will be able to take your trading to the next level by having a much more solid understanding of the markets. And because you're a subscriber, Just click on the link in the description below to access our exclusive discount. Time to take your trading to the next level. All right, let's get back to the video.
How can I use this information to your benefit, right? How can I use this information to my benefit? Okay, now let's take a look at this. Prices are going down. I want you to keep in mind one thing, big boy. I want you to look at big boy in terms of time frame. Let's say you're on a 60-minute time frame. The prices are going like this. Now, what is a big boy to the 60-minute time frame? So if you're on the 60-minute time frame, what is a big boy above that? The 4 hours, the daily. If you look at this from a 4-hour or a daily perspective and you draw it out and you see basically this, and then you see your lines that you drew like this, I want you to answer the question, the line that you were drawing on the 60, on a higher time frame, do they see a support and resistance? If the answer is no, you do not have support of the big boy behind you. That's a very big thing. You've all heard of the concepts of the trend is your friend. Well, then look for the bloody trend. Find the support from the big boy. Get his assistance, and he doesn't charge for it. All you gotta do is look for it and hop on with him. That's the beauty of this. He doesn't charge for it, but if you don't do it with him, he will make you pay for it, okay? There's a big difference there. So remember, your big boy is important to make sure your support and resistance lines shows up with them. So let's go deeper into the how. Well, how do I draw it? Okay, so you'll see a candle that'll look like this. Then you'll see a candle that'll look like that, and then a candle that'll look like this, and then a candle that'll look like that, and then a candle that looks like that. So now you're coming to a conclusion of, so Navin, do I draw my support like this? Do I draw my support like that? Do I classify this as that's my resistance? Just the whole vicinity? I want you to look at support resistance and literally use your own instincts and saying, I think that's a support. I think that's a resistance. And that is correct because the exactness doesn't matter. And I'm going to show you why. So now let's take a look at what this means now. Now, you want to use that information and say, when do I act upon it? So let's say you have a movement that's been coming down like this. Okay? Prices have been holding, and it goes, wow, just drops. Okay? It drops below that range very, very aggressively. You're looking at the markets are talking about some crazy stuff going on, and you're like, oh, that's why it dropped. I know there's a purpose behind that movement. Good. Now that you know there's a purpose behind that movement and it actually dropped, that memory is going to instill with a lot of people. What you want to do is always say, I never want to get into a sell right there. I can see it's dropping. It might even further drop where you were considering it. All you need to do is take these two things and sit on them. You have to literally sit on them. Burn them. No, don't burn them, please. Like just don't use them. Wait. You have to learn this concept of what you do naturally. Wait for the discount, even though you feel, yeah, but what if it goes lower? Forget about it. Let it go lower. You wait for your discount. Let's say prices are now starting to come back and you have a level you have drawn. You're like, that's the memory point. Okay? I think it's approximately there. Okay? Doesn't matter if there's little things sticking out of here, sticking out of there. I think it's thereabouts. What thereabouts means is prices can even come up to here and it's still fine. It's still in that little rangy area. Okay? So far so good? Let's take this a little bit further. What I want you to do now is something called rubber band man. So what the rubber band man is I want you to imagine a dude or a dudess. I want you to imagine a person, okay? And around the person's waist is a rubber band pulling him back, okay? So as the prices pull back towards your level, I want you to imagine him running up. Whoa. He runs up fast. Then the rubber band pulls him back, but not so much. Then he runs up again, beating his previous record by slightly higher. And you're like, this is how much he ran up last time, but this time he ran up only this much. He must be getting tired. Then this time the rubber band pulls him back, so he's getting dragged back and you're like, wow, Last time he was getting pulled back a little bit. Now it's like 50, 60%. He's getting pulled back. The guy's running out of juice. He's running out of energy. I understand we are now at support equals resistance. I want to remind myself that this is not a line given to me by the heavens. This line is a rough estimate. On top of that, my rubber band man seems to have energy somewhere and he's just gotten stronger. Maybe he's on steroids or something, you know? So he's got stronger and you're like, what's going on? Stand by. Pulls back in deep and you're like, oh man, I should have sold it. But Navin told me to stand by. That bloody brown man, he told me to stand by, but I'm just gonna wait and I'm gonna follow what he was telling me to do because I wanna see how this unfolds. So with a lot of your FOMO and you sitting on your hands, you're like, okay, I'm gonna wait. Then the buy kicks back in. You're like, okay, he's having struggle running up, but he did well. Stand by, okay? Every time he seems to get tired a lot more. Even though he's doing a good job, he keeps breaking his own records. He keeps getting tired. I want to see more information. Stand by. Wow, he's really struggling. He's really having a tough time. Now, you can start to say, I am going to get ready to trade this. It's proving to you that rubber band man who was running up is running out of steam, and now it's getting ready to turn from the wall that you have drawn. Remember, it's an approximate area, and it is responding to that approximate area. What's going to happen is when you look at this in hindsight, you'll be like, oh, of course, that's a support equals resistance. But when you do it live, it's not so easy because we might be in here. And that's the wrong thing to do when it comes to timing. You have to wait. You have to wait. Otherwise, you'll get stopped out just above here. You'll put your stop loss here. You'll get stopped out. And then you might sell again, maybe get stopped out again. And then it will eventually work. And you'll be like, I don't get it. I thought I did everything right. Maybe I'm drawing it wrong. And then people go down that rabbit hole of maybe I drew it wrong. And that's not right. It's not the drawing that's the problem. It's understanding when it will turn. Make sense? So let's go deeper now. Now, let's take a look at this on Aussie CAD. And here we are on the 4 hours. I want you to look at this, the flow of, you see this? Where would you draw support on this? Okay, the top is like, oh yeah, the top is like that. Seems easy. My OCD is happy. How would you draw the bottom? Rough drawing, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be body only, no tails. Rough drawing, that's fine. Okay, that is fine. Now, having that said, the previous one, how would you draw that? Rough drawing, how would you draw the bottom side? Some of you guys might be saying, like that? Some of you guys might be saying, like that? Like that? That? While some of you guys might be saying, wait a minute, that looks like an upward angle. You're getting that movement you need that's telling you that you can now get on to the next discount if they offer it. Okay? Which means you're aware of this congestion has finally broken through and you're like, movement is coming. I want to be part of that movement, but no way, Jose, am I going to sell down there with FOMO thinking it's going to keep going down. Remember that burning hand sentence I use, don't burn them, sit on them and say, I won't sell until I get my darn discount. Okay? So once you get your deal as it's coming in, I want you to show you how the prices come in. Now, some of you guys might not have training to look at candlesticks as they develop. I'm going to take you down to the methodology of the rubber band man as I've shown you down on one time frame on the 60 minutes, and I'm going to show you how this plays out. Okay, let's go to the 60. Let's have a look. So let's draw that line in. Boom, boom, roughly. Now, remember how I had the line slightly up earlier? Put that in if you want. Put that in and be like, fine. And then you put your limit order down there and then bam, you make your money. No, come on. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. So prices have been coming down, and no matter how much they come down, you're like, no, you give me a discount and then we'll see. Here goes the rubber band man. Here he goes. He goes up. Wham! Guy's got energy. He's got power. That's a lot of resting. He goes up and he gets pulled back 90%. Rubber band man is exhausted already. But we don't know much information. Show me more. He beat his own record and he ran further than he did last time. Last time he ran this much, this time he ran that much. He's pretty strong. Okay, stand by. I can't do anything, even though I'm getting rejections near what my line might be. I need more information. Comes down, rests a little bit, and starts going up again. Goes up, can't beat his record. Goes up, can't beat his record. Goes up, can't beat his record. Come on. Is that so difficult to understand now? What's basically happening is he's now actually rolling over. He's running out of steam. Yes, you don't have that pretty price to show off on Instagram, but who cares? Who cares? You want to be right. You want to be right. So thus, any entries that you do from this moment onwards, in my eyes, is the most prettiest thing you can do on the planet. Okay? So the guy who's getting in here, good for you. Get out of my house. But the guy who gets in here, hey, you want to work with me? I got tons of capital I can give towards you. Why don't you join my prop firm? This is the correct way to do things. This means you now understand why the markets move. This means you now understand I need a discount to make any money. This means you understand if the market is moving, I want to be part of that movement, but I'm not going to run after it. The next thing is you have enough patience to let it roll. And you're not just running after it because it touched the line. What if after resting, he did this? He was strong, right? What if he got stronger, right? Don't take that chance. There's no need for FOMO. Now, you got a level there, roughly drawn. But roughly drawn, I also have a level there, right? So I got a level up there, I got a level down here, and I'm like, okay, what can I do with this information? I was watching it down on the 60 and the 15 with some of my colleagues and saying, if my rubber band man from that lower level starts to show sign of struggling, I might sell it. So what I did was I was looking at the area and I was seeing, oh, Mr. Rubber Band Man, you got some juice in you. Okay, I'm not going to touch it. I'm getting close to my area. The area might have been here. We're not going to touch it. And then he goes, wham! What happened to the Rubber Band Man? It's fine. He's been strong this whole time. Let's see what he's got. Okay, okay, okay. Hey, he's having a tough time. Compared to before, he takes a little breather, makes a new high. Takes a little breather, makes a new high. Takes a little breather, makes a new high. So don't get in his way. Let him make new highs. But over here, someone responded. I was looking at the same area on Aussie CAD. But unlike New Zealand CAD, where it went up and up like that, I was watching it as, this looks like a range to me. And where New Zealand CAD was turning over, my Aussie CAD was turning over. Okay? Now, the turning over part might sound a little confusing, but you guys know how to do that now. The Rubber Band Man, he's, after getting smacked down, he's fighting his way back to see if he can make a new high. Fighting his way back, fighting. He's out of juice. Okay? Let's take a look at this. All right. Okay, so if you guys have understood that, this is a trade 3 hours ago, sold. Here's the 1 hour chart. That's the area. The whole idea came from a colleague of mine who was looking at New Zealand CAD initially, and I actually looked at the whole parameters, and what I actually did, what this technique is called is correlation. Instead of using New Zealand CAD, where I saw some problems there with volume, that we're not going to get into that today. I saw some issues with volume there. I didn't see it here, but I did see memory holding, and I did see an area to roll. I'm like, I'm going to do that. But because how much risk New Zealand CAD is in, I have to be very, very careful. I have to be very, very careful that I don't hold this too long. So what I did was I'm trading Aussie CAD, but I got the knowledge from New Zealand CAD. I've got the ideas of my risk from New Zealand CAD. Like, watch out, be careful. So now this is the trade where activated, trades launched in my favor, going. And you guys want to see a little bit of analysis behind this as well. So this is the trade that ended up resulted in a small $3,700 on this. Not a lot. This broker is Interactive Brokers, my personal favorite, one of the biggest brokers out there in the world. And this is a live trade on that. All right, so there you have it, guys. Everything we talked about, top to bottom, You guys now have it with you. And I hope those of you guys who cannot afford Urban Forex do not actually hate us, because we are still here to help you guys out and still here to give you the information. A bit slower than we do for our premium members, but we do get you the information. So have no fear about that. Thanks a lot, guys, for coming in. As always, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for taking the time. Until next time. Cheers.